In our last video, I told you the truth that most refuse to face, that 93% of traders fail while only 7% succeed. And I said the market doesn't destroy those 93%, they destroy themselves. But there's something even more tragic that lies beneath that truth. It's not just that most traders fail, it's that most quit right before they were about to win. They walk away not because the market is impossible, but because they couldn't endure what the market was trying to make of them. That's the real reason most traders never see the other side. And if you've been with me from the last video, you already know that trading isn't luck, it's transformation. And transformation never happens inside comfort. It happens through silence, through loss, through long stretches of frustration that make most men doubt themselves completely. So if you're still watching, still learning, still fighting through your mistakes, I already know one thing about you. You haven't quit yet. And that means there's still time to become one of the few who truly make it. Before we begin, wherever you're watching from, I want you to leave a comment below. Tell me your country, your city, your journey, because whether you're in London, Manila, Lagos, or New York, every trader fights the same invisible war. And if you're serious about mastering that war, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and share it with another trader who's struggling to hold on. Now let's begin. I've seen more traders quit than succeed. I've seen men walk into the market with their eyes full of fire and leave with their hearts full of doubt. You see, most people think trading is about predicting prices, studying charts, or mastering indicators. But I'll tell you something that might shake you. The market doesn't beat you. You beat yourself. When I started, I wasn't smarter than the others. I was just more obsessed. I studied the tape until my vision blurred. I sat in bucket shops for hours, memorizing every rhythm, every pause, every flicker of the market's heartbeat. And still, I failed. Over and over again. But I didn't stop, because somewhere deep down I understood that every loss was the market trying to teach me something about myself. Most men never stay long enough to understand what those losses mean. They think the pain is a sign to leave, but the pain is the test. And that test is the toll every trader must pay before they're allowed to win. The market never hands out success. It teases you with small victories, then takes them away to see if you can stay calm. It hides its wisdom behind your own emotions. It wants to know, can you hold when fear whispers in your ear? Can you stay patient when boredom eats at your mind? Can you survive disappointment without letting it poison your purpose? Because that's the true exam. And most traders never make it past that point, and they think the market turned against them. But in truth, they turned against themselves. The moment you understand this, you begin to change. You stop asking, when will I win? And start asking, what is the market trying to teach me? That shift, that single change in mindset, is where your real journey begins. So let me ask you a question right now. Are you one of those who stop when the storm comes? Or will you be the one who stands still, watching the storm pass, knowing the sun always returns? If you're still here, I think I know your answer. And that's why you're already different. The ones who quit, they never realize how close they were. They never see that the pain they escaped was the exact pain that would have built them. The market rewards those who endure the silence after the chaos. It rewards those who refuse to flinch. It rewards those who can look loss in the face and whisper, teach me. That's where strength is built, that's where wisdom is born, and that's where traders cross from the 93% into the 7%. The hardest part of my journey wasn't losing money, it was losing belief. Not in the market, but in myself. I remember nights when I sat in silence, the tape stopped ticking, the room still. I would stare at the numbers in my ledger and wonder how a man so sure of his understanding could still be so wrong. The weight of failure is heavy, not because of the money, but because it challenges your identity. When you lose in the market, it feels as if you've lost a piece of who you are. That's the pain most traders can't endure. They think they're quitting trading, but in truth, they're running from the mirror that trading holds up to their soul. The market shows you everything you try to hide, your impatience, your fear, your greed, your arrogance. It exposes every weakness with brutal precision. And the moment you see yourself clearly for the first time, it hurts. It hurts more than any loss ever could. Most traders never recover from that moment. They walk away telling themselves, trading isn't for me. But what they really mean is, I wasn't ready to meet myself. I faced that mirror too. There was a point when every trade seemed to mock me. I'd enter a position and watch it turn against me instantly, as if the market was waiting for my move. And when I finally reversed, it would move the other way again. It felt personal, like the market was playing a cruel joke. But the truth was simple. I wasn't losing to the market. I was losing to my emotions. The moment I accepted that truth, everything changed. Because the market, you see, is pure. It has no opinion, no malice, no sympathy. It simply reflects the balance between greed and fear, both of which live inside you. And the day you learn to master those two forces, not in the chart, but in your own mind, that's the day you stop fighting the market. That's when you begin to move with it. I once knew a trader, brilliant, quick, full of potential. He studied harder than anyone I'd met. But after one devastating loss, he disappeared. Months later, I saw him again. He looked older, quieter. He told me, "Livermore, I couldn't take the humiliation. Every trade reminded me of what I wasn't." And I remember saying, "The market didn't humiliate you. Your pride did." You see, the difference between those who stay and those who quit is humility. The market will humble every man eventually. The question is, will you learn from it or will you flee from it? That's what separates the 7% from the rest. And the winners don't feel less pain. They just learn how to sit inside it until the lesson reveals itself. Every great trader passes through this valley of doubt. It's dark, quiet, lonely, and most never walk out. But if you stay, if you endure the silence, if you refuse to run, one day the fog lifts. And suddenly, everything you used to force now begins to flow. That's the irony of trading, and you spend years trying to control it. Then one day you realize mastery doesn't come from control, it comes from surrender. I remember the first time I truly understood this. After a crushing loss, I walked to my hotel window and stared down at the streetlights of New York. For the first time, I didn't curse my luck or the ticker. I simply said, "It was me. All along, it was me." And in that moment of honesty, something inside me shifted. The market didn't change, I did. From that day forward, I stopped treating trading as a battle and started treating it as a mirror. Every trade became a reflection, a conversation between my impulses and my discipline. And I realized as my discipline grew, so did my profits. So if you've ever found yourself in that moment, sitting there wondering if it's worth continuing, I'll tell you this: you are not at the end. You're at the beginning of the lesson that truly matters. Pain doesn't mean stop, and it means listen. And if you're still listening, still learning, still watching this right now, then you're closer than you think. Take a second to breathe. Take a second to remember why you started. And if this message resonates with you, if it reminds you of the fire you once had, then like this video, share it with someone who's ready to quit, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, because I want you to remember something. Every trader who made it once stood exactly where you are, on the edge between giving up and breaking through. And the only difference between those who quit and those who succeed is that the successful ones didn't. Patience. That's the word most traders misunderstand. They talk about it like it's a virtue, but in trading, it's a weapon. Every trader wants to act, to move, to trade. They think success is born from constant motion, but the truth is, most money is made by waiting. I didn't build my fortune by chasing every price swing or predicting every turn. I built it by sitting still when I was right and admitting instantly when I was wrong. And yet most traders do the opposite. They rush out of their winners and hold their losers, hoping for mercy from a market that has none. You want to know why most traders quit before they succeed? Because waiting feels unbearable, because patience doesn't look like progress, and because silence feels like failure when you don't understand what it's doing to you. But I learned something. The market rewards those who can wait in discomfort. It punishes those who demand certainty too soon. I used to sit in the exchange room watching others panic over every tick. Men would pace the floor, their emotions rising and falling with every movement on the tape. But I sat there still, unmoving. I wasn't watching the tape, I was studying the rhythm beneath it. That rhythm is slow, deliberate, invisible to the impatient eye. It's not the ticks that matter, but the tempo, the pulse that connects accumulation, breakout, exhaustion, and collapse. If you can feel that rhythm, you no longer chase the market, you flow with it. And that only happens when you learn to be still. Stillness is power, because when everyone else reacts, the man who waits, he observes. He sees what others can't. But waiting isn't easy. You will feel tension, doubt, fear. Your mind will scream to take action, to do something, anything, just to feel in control again. But that's the trap. The market knows your impulses better than you do, and it waits for your impatience to become your undoing. I learned to see boredom not as the enemy, but as the teacher. The quiet times, when nothing moves, when you doubt yourself the most, that's when you're building the discipline that separates you from the crowd. You see, anyone can trade during excitement, and anyone can buy during euphoria or sell during panic. But the real trader, the rare one, learns to sit through the stillness with absolute calm, like a sniper waiting for the perfect moment, not firing until the target aligns. That's why patience isn't passive. It's preparation. When I made my biggest profits, it wasn't because I found some secret method. It was because I had the strength to sit tight, to let the market do the heavy lifting, to trust the work I had already done. Every great move I ever caught began with long stretches of nothing. Days of waiting, weeks of silence, the market whispering, testing, distracting, and me resisting. That's what most traders can't do. They think success must always feel active, exciting, rewarding. But success in trading feels quiet. It feels still. It feels like waiting in a dark room, not knowing when the light will return, but trusting that it will. That's why so many quit right before they make it. Because that final stretch, the one that breaks the impatient, is the exact place where the patient are reborn. There's a certain irony in all this. The traders who rush, who can't wait, who need constant action, they end up losing time. But the trader who waits, who chooses stillness over noise, he gains time. He earns back every moment he refused to waste chasing shadows. And when the move finally comes, the real one, not the fake signals, it feels effortless. Because you're already aligned with it. Because patience has done its work quietly inside you. That's when you realize the goal was never to beat the market. It was to outlast yourself. If you're watching this and you're in that season and that long, dull, uncertain phase, don't mistake it for failure. You're in the part of the story most people never reach. You're in the waiting room of success. Stay there long enough. The door will open, and when it does, you'll look back and see that every moment of stillness, every urge you resisted, every trade you didn't take, it was all part of the climb. Now, if these words reach you, if they remind you to stay patient when everything in you wants to give up, then like this video, share it with a trader who needs to hear it, and tell me in the comments, how long have you been waiting for your breakthrough? Because maybe, just maybe, it's closer than you think. You see, the market doesn't destroy men, it merely reveals them. Every trader who quits before he succeeds doesn't fall because of the market, he falls because of himself. Impatience, ego, doubt. They're the invisible forces that strip a trader long before his account ever does. I've seen brilliant men lose everything, not because they lacked knowledge, but because they couldn't master their own mind. They studied the charts, the news, the patterns, but never studied themselves. And that's where the real market exists, inside you. When I look back on my years of trading, the booms, the crashes, the noise, the glory, I realize something simple. Every fortune I made came after a long period of emptiness. Every lesson I learned came dressed as loss. Every test the market gave me was never about money. It was about me. That's what most traders never understand. They're chasing prices while the market is trying to teach principles. They're searching for profits while the market is searching for patience. They want immediate reward, but the market gives delayed truth. You don't fail because you lost a few trades. You fail because you stop learning from them. You stop refining, stop reflecting, stop trusting the process. And that's the exact moment when most quit. But here's the truth. No one ever truly fails in the market until they stop showing up. The trader who endures, even in silence, even in doubt, is already winning because he's learning what others refuse to learn. Control. Control is the foundation of every great trader. Not control over the market. That's impossible. control over yourself, your fear, your greed, your timing, your expectations. You'll never know when the market will reward you. You'll never know how long you'll have to wait. But if you can hold your ground, if you can keep your head steady while others panic, you'll outlast them all. I often say a man can make mistakes, but he must not quit. The market forgives losses, it does not forgive surrender, because every loss carries a seed of understanding. Every wrong move points toward a better one, and every moment you survive gives you the wisdom to recognize opportunity when it finally appears. But here's the most important thing I've learned. You can't rush maturity, you can't force wisdom, you can only live through it, one quiet day at a time. That's why trading isn't a race, it's an evolution. And the only thing that separates the man who makes it from the one who doesn't is how long he's willing to endure the unseen seasons. If you can accept that the market is not against you, it's for you, shaping you, refining you, stripping away everything false, then every loss becomes a lesson, not a wound. You stop fearing the journey. You start embracing it. That's when you cross a line most traders never reach. The line where trading stops being about money and becomes about mastery, where profit becomes a byproduct of patience, where the market becomes your teacher and silence your greatest ally. That's the stage very few ever see, because they quit right before it happens. They quit at the final test, when the pain is highest, the doubt deepest, and the noise loudest. But if they'd held on a little longer, just a little longer, they would have realized the storm was passing and the breakthrough was near. You might be there right now. You might be standing in that storm, wondering if you should quit, if it's worth it, if maybe the market just isn't for you. But I'll tell you what I told myself in my darkest moments. If you quit now, all the pain you've endured will be for nothing. But if you keep going, every mistake, every sleepless night, every loss will eventually compound into wisdom. And wisdom is the most valuable capital you'll ever own. That's the real reward of this game. Not just wealth, but transformation. To become unshakable, to become calm in chaos, to learn that you can lose everything and still remain whole. Because the man who can't be broken, he can always rebuild. So, if these words find you when you're doubting yourself, don't quit yet. Don't throw away what time has been trying to build inside you. You're closer than you think. You've already endured too much to stop now. Keep studying the market, but more importantly, study yourself. Be patient when others panic, be silent when others shout, and remember, your breakthrough is not an event, it's a process. If this message resonated with you, if it reignited something within you, like this video, share it with a fellow trader who's walking through the same fire, and comment below where you're watching from. Let's build a circle of those who refuse to quit, the few who understand that the market doesn't reward speed, but endurance. And if you haven't yet, watch our previous lesson. Why 93% of traders fail while only 7% succeed. It will give you the foundation for everything I've said here, because in the end, the greatest lesson the market ever taught me wasn't how to win. It was how not to give up before the win arrived. Stay patient, stay disciplined. And remember, every master trader was once where you are now, uncertain, exhausted, tempted to quit, but still holding on. That's how success begins, quietly, stubbornly, in the shadows of doubt.